Okay, there's always 3D glasses. That means a 3D movie. I didn't see this one in IMAX 3D because just the timing just didn't quite work out as well as I would have hoped. Now, I love Guillermo del Toro movies. I love kaiju movies. So Pacific Rim is like peanut butter and jelly or anything in bacon. It begins very simply by giving you the definition. Kaiju, Japanese, giant beast, Jaeger, German, hunter. That tells you the vast majority of what it is that you need to know. What happened was there is a breach near the Pacific Rim. Good idea for the title. And what happens is kaijus have begun to make landfall. First they thought it was just one, and then they began to show up 6 months later, then a little bit after that. So all the governments got together and decided to put all their mediocre, smaller things aside and create the Jaeger program. When they first started working on it, they had one pilot. One pilot, their brains kind of got fried. Therefore, it took two pilots. One pilot is the right hemisphere, one pilot is the left hemisphere. The two of them sync up through what's referred to as the drift, so essentially they end up sharing memories so they can control the giant robot. For several years, that worked very, very well. That's about the first half an hour of the movie. It's giving you a little bit of the background, a couple of really solid fights, and then all of a sudden the time frame when the kaijus were evolving and advancing much more rapidly than our Jaegers. So then the world of governments come up with this other idea. A giant wall. They decommission the Jaeger program and build a giant wall. So now you're towards the last half of the movie already, where it's just the small remaining amount of Jaegers and the small amount of pilots pretty much trying to find a way to see if they can seal the breach as well as fight off these giant monsters. So if you like giant monsters fighting giant robots, this is by far the perfect movie for you. And it really does show that you can take a similar concept to what you would see in the Millennium series Godzilla movies where Godzilla fought Mechagodzilla. You see lots of themes kind of like that. Where giant aliens, giant monsters showed up, we build giant robots kind of win, monster becomes more powerful, need better robots. And it's done in that similar vein. It's done in that kaiju vein where it's not entirely a serious movie. They do throw in moments of bizarre comedic aspect to it. You do have two scientists. One super excited about kaiju. The other is kind of the mathematician. The part that Ron Perlman plays is ridiculous. When he shows up, it is probably one of the most bizarre characters you'll see in a film, but it's done beautifully. Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman are a match made in absolute heaven. They do a great job when it comes to special effects. This is definitely a 3D movie. When you're seeing giant robots, and I mean giant, talking skyscraper size. Each robot has their own sort of personality. You see bits and pieces of... You do see chest cannons being used. You see multiple missiles being fired. You do see one that kind of has the fist retracts back and then punches forward. Almost reminiscent of kind of like Big O in some ways. Each robot has its own distinct look and personality to it. The kaiju are actually based on actual creatures. You'll see one that looks kind of like a gorilla, one that's very much almost kind of like I'll say more squid-like than anything else, one that looks like an alligator or a crocodile, that sort of body style. So very inventive, very well done. The speech that you get to hear, which is the "We're canceling the apocalypse" speech, is done well. All these movies where it's mankind fighting its way towards inevitable extinction, they always have that kind of over-the-top moment, and that's what this one is. But it's done well. I want to say that guy's name was Ibris. It's Ibris something. And he does a fantastic job. After seeing this, I would love to see him play a president in a movie later on. Or a ruler of a large kingdom. But like I said at the start, Guillermo del Toro makes great movies. kaiju make for fun, entertaining movies. Combine the two, and you get a fantastic popcorn, over the top, doesn't take itself too super serious, lots of action, bits and pieces of comedy. And that's Pacific Rim.